National Assembly advised on needed constitutional amendments. National Housing Scheme sensitizes Akwa Ibom Civil Service desk officers on National Housing Fund. Government committed to illicit practices by palm produce business dealers in Akwa Ibom. Jewish funeral held for Nabi Meleke Omo, fifth man of Nsabibom local government area. Details, just a moment. Good evening and welcome to AKBC 45 News at 8. I am Fort Udokan. Now, the news in detail. The Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage has scheduled public hearing in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country on Thursday, 7th March 2024. In a release by the chairman of National Salary Income Wages Commission, Ekpo Nta Esquire, indicates that the South-South Zone 1 will take place at Ibom Hall, IBB Way, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State at 10 o'clock. The committee invites the state and local governments, labor unions, employers of labor, civil society groups, small and medium enterprises, and other stakeholders to attend and present memoranda. Their presentations should include proposed new national minimum wage for payments, proposed coverage in terms of the number of employees engaged by any agency in the area of economic activity to be excluded, proposal on how to enhance and sustain high productivity in public and private sectors of the economy to sustain recommendations, proposed frequency and mechanism of future reviews, proposed penalties for contravening the National Minimum Wage Act by individuals like corporate bodies, and any other recommendations connected with the subject matter from a perspective that is considered to be relevant and critical to issues of at stake. The soft copies of their presentation should be sent to minimumwage.nsiwc.gov.ng and minimum.wage@gmail.com. For inquiries and confirmation of delivery, contact Director Compensation on 080 655 5350. The State Governor, Pastor Mono, has told the National Assembly Committee on Environment and Host Communities to seek amendments that would address the economic and environmental degradation of the Niger Delta region. He gave the advice when he received members of the committee at Government House Uyo. Oturumakon has details.
Represented by the Deputy Governor, Senator Okoneyahi, the state's chief executive observed that being an integral part of the Niger Delta region, as well as the highest contributor to the nation's purse, Akwa Ibom deserves to be treated commensurately by the federal government. He explained that instead, the state government was grappling alone with the measures to check serious ecological challenges occasioned by oil exploration, where it spends humongous funds to arrest. The governor, however, argued that every amendment to the constitution was implemented to the latter in order to justify the mandate of the legislature in tune with the laws of the land.
I'm happy on behalf of the governor that you're here, that you chose Akwa Ibom State for this retreat. Anytime we hear about retreats, it's not a jamboree kind of gathering, it's not a party, it's a program that needs emotional stability. It's a program that you must have a serene environment to be able to think, to be able to discuss, to be able to deliberate, to come up with facts that will help build our nation. So the choice of Akwa Ibom State and you make no mistake.
Earlier, the committee chairman, Julius Gabajo of Environment, told the governor that they were in Akwa Ibom on a retreat to assess the PIA and seek amendments to it.
We are in New York to dissect the project divestment as companies and the environmental impact on those communities. And I'm particularly glad that the Director of the program should apply on the Akwa as a critical stakeholder in the oil sector. We felt that it's proper that we pay costs for the government of Akwa State that we are in the domain.
Otobi Maokon, AKBC News.
A 2-day seminar on the National Housing Fund has been organized for desk officers of the scheme in Akwa Ibom State Civil Service. Packaged by the National Housing Scheme in collaboration with the state government, the seminar, which held in New York, had a theme bringing National Housing Fund benefits to contributors in Akwa Ibom State. Esther Umorin has the story.
The head of civil service and chairman National Housing Fund, Akwa Ibom State, Elder Effiong Essien, who declared the event open, said it was the first feat for the state to have a desk officers forum deliberate on issues related to the National Housing Fund scheme and the aim it serves to achieve for contributors. He said this would help them own a house of their own at retirement from service. Mr. Effiong Essien was represented by the permanent secretary in his office, Mr. Joseph Esidem.
Let me also express my appreciation to our dear Governor, His Excellency Pastor Moina, for building on the foundation of successive administrations in facilitating the accessibility of affordable housing to enable interested workers offtake the available housing units.
The head Desk Officers Forum, Mr. Uwemudosen, said National Housing Scheme through the Federal Mortgage Bank now operates through the Office of the Head of Civil Service for transparency.
Every corresponding from the Federal Mortgage Bank to the contributors and MDAs or corresponding from MDAs to desk officer should enforce pass through the Office of the Head of Civil Service.
Goodwill messages were received from the Nigeria Labour Congress chairman, Akwa Ibom State, Comrade Sunny James, the representative of the clerk of the State House of Assembly, Mrs. Nsika Rabasi-Orok, a representative of the registrar of Akwa Ibom State Judiciary, Mr. Iberedem Sena, a representative of the Accountant General of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Uwem Andrew Essien, all who pledged commitment to the success of the National Housing Fund scheme.
We're going to look for our own housing estate that we can also be able to go into it. What's the magic? Kaduna State has 7,000 housing estate for civil servants. What is the magic that we cannot replace in Akwa Ibom? The chairman, the MD, you know what it takes to do it. Bring the secret and we want to own it. So that we can pass vote of confidence or no confidence on you.
And he said that he will continue to encourage you in all your tasks and assignments.
It's one forum, an event that will bring in civil servants in the state so that they'll be able to tap into the various incentives and benefits of being contributors to the National Housing Fund scheme.
Responding, the branch manager, Federal Mortgage Bank, Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Effiong Umorin, presented a paper on a brief overview of the scheme and its achievements. Mrs. Rosemary Nana enumerated elaborate information on the housing loan scheme by the Federal Mortgage Bank.
This meeting of today is going to be communicated appropriately to Abuja, and I want to believe there will be a reward in this direction. And we as a bank will look forward to continue working in cooperation with desk officers in Akwa Ibom State.
Legacy awards were presented to distinguished dignitaries. Esther Umorin, AKBC News.
We'll take a break here, and when we return, government committed to stop illicit practices by palm produce business dealers in Akwa Ibom. Stay with us.
This is a home where we all belong. The place where life is beautiful. The peaceful ambience we enjoy when we live together in unity and love. It's a man and you know. We go stand together, we go make them better. We be brothers and sisters, no matter where we be. It's a man and you know. No matter where we be, we are one. We are one. Let's live together in peace and harmony.
You're still watching AKBC 45 News at 8. The state government says it will clamp down on people involved in illicit practices in palm produce business in order to sanitize the sector. This was brought to the fore when officials of the Ministry of Trade and Investment visited markets in Ibesikwa Sultan local government area as part of a statewide sensitization tour to rid the palm produce business irregularities. Mesekere reports. Details of that report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Theodore Lagbaja, Tuesday said personnel of his office had accepted the democratic system of government in place in the country and had no plan to truncate it. Lagbaja described personnel to the Nigerian army under his leadership as agents of democracy. His statement comes in the wake of a series of coup allegations against the military. The allegations were fueled by the forceful takeover of power by the military in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic. Despite these allegations, the military has consistently refuted such claims on various occasions. Speaking at a seminar for the Nigerian Army officers in Abuja, Lagbaja stated that the army was dedicated to upholding the constitution. The army chief gave the assurance that soldiers will continue to carry out their mandate as contained in the constitution and urged the elected leaders in the country to lead well while the military does its job, remaining professional and above board as they discharge their duties. In continuation of measures to address the food inflation and cost of living crisis, the federal government says it had so far intercepted 141 trucks attempting to smuggle grains and other staples to Niger Republic, Chad, Cameroon, and the Central African Republic. The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, said that the service had within 2 weeks arrested about 120 trucks smuggling food items from Nigeria, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission stopped 21 food trucks from leaving the country Tuesday. Mr. Adeniyi stated that the decision to halt the smuggling of food items was to fight hunger and not encourage those who want to enrich themselves at the expense of the people. He warned against adopting quick fix solution to address the food scarcity in the country, adding that the country must put in place long-term measures to address the situation. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, Tuesday asked the federal government of Nigeria to pay immediate attention to food insecurity in the country. The IMF made its position known in its end of mission statement issued after the completion of IMF Staff 2024 Article 4 mission to Nigeria. President Tinubu, Peter Obi, and Kingsley Magualo also spoke at the leadership annual event, which served as stage for political figures, elder statesmen, and other dignitaries to highlight the importance of increasing productivity as a means of elevating Nigeria from her current state of hardship and steering her towards economic stability and strength. The IMF said addressing food insecurity should be an immediate priority of the federal government, stating that the new government inherited a different economic marked by low growth, low revenue collection, accelerated inflation, and external imbalances built up over years. It also said that the recent approval of a well-targeted and effective social protection system is an important step towards addressing food insecurity in Nigeria. The funeral of late Nabi Maleke Mbotidem Umar Fetman, a Jewish religion practitioner, has been held in Oboito, Nsibibom local government area. Esther Moren reports that the funeral of the man who was also known as Okuku Epayen Afrim was conducted by the Nibim Jews Synagogue Incorporated. The report.
The memorial ceremony, conducted according to Jewish traditional religion, served as the final funeral rites in honor of the septuagenarian Nabi Meleke Mbotidem Umar Fethman. He died on February 1, 2024 and was buried on February 2, 2024. Families, community members, sympathizers, members of the Nabim Jewish religion within and outside the state celebrated the deceased with songs and dance. A biography of the deceased, read by the granddaughter, Miss Sarah Odudumo, indicated that he was a man who loved, cherished, and inculcated good moral values in his family's Nabim Jews Synagogue and all who identified with him. Condolences were received from members of the family, Nabim Jewish Synagogue, Veteran Farmers Association, and the community. In a short Shloshim lectures by way of exhortation, A.B. Cohen Elishama Essien, who preached on the theme, "What does the Bible say about death?" revealed that man born of woman is short-lived and full of trouble, urging all to live godly lives as it is the obligation of man. The event also featured Shakarit, led by Uziel Ben Dishek, and a brief history of Nabim Jewish religion in Nigeria by Shemida Ben Ramat. High points of the event was the unveiling of the tomb of late Nabi Meleke Mbotidem Umar Fethman, buried on February 2, 2024.
On that note, we end the news tonight, but just before we go, a quick look at the recap. The Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage has scheduled public hearing in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country on Thursday, 7th March 2024. In a release signed by the chairman of National Salary Income Wages Commission, Ekpo U. Owonta Esquire, indicates that the South Zone 1 will take place at Ibom Hall, IBB Way, Uyo, at 10 o'clock in the morning. The state governor, Pastor Moina, has told the National Assembly Committee on Environment and Host Communities to seek amendments that would address the economic and environmental degradation of the Niger Delta region. He gave the advice when he received members of the committee at Government House Uyo. We also brought you a report that the state government says it will clamp down on people involved in illicit practices in palm produce business in order to sanitize the sector. This was brought to the fore when officials of the Ministry of Trade and Investment visited markets in Ibisekwa Sultan local government area on a statewide sensitization tour to rid the palm produce business irregularities in the state. That's the news tonight.